I mean, what a responsibility for a young boy to take on such an assignment from the other side, dealing with this and having no one to speak about it with, probably, because you said like you were raised in, a scientific way, although there were kind of an openness there. But I still
Yeah.
think that, my goodness, like that pressure for a small boy, that must have been like, you must have been or are a very mature soul to be able to handle that. And then I know that you had an NDE. I'd love to hear it, the details
Mm,
of it. And I'm curious about how that sort of plays into all the ghost
mm,
stuff, because it's really interesting that you've had such a contact with lost souls and dark souls. And I get so many questions like, is this a part of your soul journey to sort of rescue these souls? But then this NDE comes. So just let's jump into that, and then we can explore this further.
yeah. Well, that was a complete wake up call,
Mm,
and like most of us, I think it maybe happened a little bit more consciously for me at age 7, or it's like I was like, let's be an ego. It's like more. It was like that looks like fun. Let's be one of these adults with their stuck in like one particular personality or whatever identified. That looked like an all of fun. So I went into that in earnest, and also, like so many, had a rough time at school. So I decided to, I was going to be kind of, good at like putting on masks and being likable and doing all this BS, especially as, teenagers do that a lot. And so by the time I was 13, I was damn good at it. I mean, maybe not damn good, but it's, much better than I was years earlier.
sorry, do you
And
mean you were good at like being an adult or trying to be? Well, I didn't quite
No,
catch
no,
what.
I was good. Right. I was good at playing the fake game that pretty much every human being does.
Okay.
And not nobody really says what they mean for the most part, and people,
Mm.
do acting. I mean, most people are fantastic actors. As Marlon Brando would point out from time to time, uh, y- you know, and so. I knew I needed a wake up call and had no idea that I did. And like at age, maybe by age 13, a lot of this stuff was the supernatural stuff was not as present. I was kind of pushing to a certain extent a lot of it away. I wanted to be good at sports and good at school and have friends and the
Mm.
stuff that young teenagers and tweens kind of want. And then it was like the almost the last day of school, which was of course a fantastic time of year. Summer breaks around the corner, and I had actually just played the first sort of scrimmage baseball game because I was loved playing baseball, and I had broken my arm getting hit by a pitch. So and came home with a sling, and so that was my big complaint. Kind of woe is me. And I was talking with my mother before going to bed, and just out of nowhere, from me, out of the clear blue sky, came the words out of my mouth, "Are you going to die soon?" Which didn't really make any kind of rational sense, because I was never worried about my mother's health, and I would worry about my dad's health, but not my mother's. That was never a thing, and it was never an anxiety that I ever had, or even really a thought. So I was taken aback by it. So too was my mother, which I found interesting because she was a very formidable, very intelligent, 6 foot tall woman. And so she was taken aback for like a couple seconds, and she sort of pulled it together and said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be around for as long as you need me." I said, "Okay." It's like, where did that come from? I went to bed. But then I woke up the next morning with almost cartoonishly, and just kind of springing up, vertical, and panting as if I'd been running, and at that very moment, my mother and father were walking outside my door, and so I kind of got their attention by saying, "There's something I got to tell you." There's something I got to tell you. But then I was extremely frustrated because, like, I couldn't remember what the damn message was I was supposed to tell them. And so I was there just angry with a lot of anxiety, like, oh my God, what is the thing? What is it? And they had to come in the room and sort of calm me down. It took like 3 to 5 minutes to calm me down. And then they went off on their way. They took these morning walks together, and I went and prepared myself to go to school. Had a fine day at school. Came home with awards, which was always a big thing for me. And we were taking my after school. We took my sister to her new job, sort of at the edge of town, at the new movie theater. And as we were pulling out of the parking lot and sort of crossing one of those 4-lane highways, another car was behind a car that wasn't going to hit us. Not my mom's fault, and there just happened to be a car that started speeding and in a place where they shouldn't, and we couldn't see them. And so, in just looking to talk to my mother, I was actually going to say, could we not put in the Luther Vandross tape, because I've been hearing too much Luther Vandross. Looking to my left, there was a big old Lincoln right about to hit us. And so everything that came after was completely unexpected to me. Like, for instance, I thought that, I was pretty sure that this was the end of my life. Like this is it. The thing was going really fast. And instead of panicking or seizing up or tightening up, everything started to go really loose. And my mind was sort of going into, even sinking very quickly into this big vast space. And I had time for, 2 thoughts. The first thought was shit. The second thought was, I really thought this life was going to go more than 13 years. And that was an interesting thought, because it was coming from a much deeper place than I was used to functioning at. It was not coming from the commentator in the box up there. It was coming from that deeper place. And as soon as I had that thought, this process of it wasn't something I was doing, but the whole life flashing before the eyes thing happened, which I was always very skeptical that was an actual thing that could happen. I was like, huh, how? But there it was, and only here it wasn't what I'd read about on TV or saw on TV or anything like that. It was I was seeing my whole life totally, no gaps, seamless flow, and I was experiencing things in ways that I wasn't able to experience at the time. I was seeing, for instance, what I mean by that is sometimes I would have these in the scene. I was feeling everything, all my subterfuges. And then behind the subterfuge, I would feel this vast pool of joy that I had been ignoring in the moment. And then sometimes I would be feeling all the other people who were part of the memory. I would be feeling inside them in ways I certainly was not when these memories were laid down. With me also was this. I won't say it's like Jiminy Cricket or like a conscience. It was far bigger than that. There was this. I could almost call this a wholly, completely objective aspect of self that I had experienced before in life, but I often didn't want to experience it because usually it was in the context of, that's a bad idea. Like, that's unwise. Maybe don't do that. It's like, I'm going to do it, But here with me in this setting, it was a delight to be close to this omniscient, all-seeing, wholly objective, vast flavor of consciousness, and it was basically guiding me, sort of taking me through the life and pointing stuff out, saying, focus on this, or look at this, or both the cons and the pros.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.